yeah. Woo! Y'all ready for this? Here it comes, babies. My 3 cents. Come on, it's time to go. And my 3 cents at your mama's show. So climb aboard, come inside and see what it's like on the My 3 cents side. What you wanna know? Who you wanna see? We got a fantasy potpourri. You don't wanna miss this, come along, cause my 3 cents and it is on.
My 3 cents.
All right. Welcome back to My 3 Cents, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the new opening there from Lost Cause Crew Studios. I'm hoping to improve on that in the future, but I want to give you a little taste of what we're trying to do here with the show. Anyway, this episode is going to be quick, down and dirty, all about the new pitching rules proposal. So, I'm going to get right into it. I wanted to give the Rangers a little shout out for beating the Islanders' ass tonight, which was fantastic. And alright, so I'm going to show you what I think is the best alternative to the current point system that I could come up with. And then what I'll do is I'll let everyone soak it up for maybe a few days, chatter about it, and then we'll post a poll and we'll put this to bed. Okay? So I hope you can stick with me for a few minutes. I'll try to make it quick. So let's get it on. Alright, so this is a breakdown of the proposed point changes for pitchers. Of course, at the root, we have wins and losses going from 10 and -5 to 5 and -2. So basically cutting the value in half. Now to counterbalance the loss in points, you move innings pitched from 0.5 to 1 full point. And then to add a better indicator of a pitcher's real performance, you use -0.2 for any hit or walk allowed, which is basically a whip measure. Now on the bottom of the page, you see how this impacts our starting pitchers only. And basically what I'm trying to show here is it does not really impact them. The top 10 starters, because they win a ton of games, take a tiny hit. Kershaw, for instance, loses, I think it's like 30 points. I don't remember, based on his 2014 performance. But if you look at the top 30, the top 50, the top 100 scorers, or the top 10, any of them, it's not a huge impact. It's definitely less than 5% of their point value, so shouldn't change draft strategy at all. Alright, so this is a little deeper dive, and what we're looking at here is the top 10 starting pitchers based on 2014 points, right? And then what you see on the right is their new rank. So the top 3 pitchers don't move at all. And what you see is Scherzer moves from 4th to 6th. Wainwright moves from 6th to 8th. So they both drop 2 points. Now,
Spots, not points.
both very good pitchers, obviously. But Scherzer, while he pitched a ton of innings and had a ton of strikeouts, his whip and ERA were both not even in the top 50. So does he really deserve to be in the top 5? Wainwright, while his peripherals were good, he had 30 less strikeouts than anybody else in the top 10. So, in a fantasy baseball league, that's going to hurt him. Now, Price, on the other hand, is the big gainer here. He moves up 3 spots from 8 to 5. He led the league in innings pitched and strikeouts last year. So, just giving a little justification as to why this happened. But overall, 9 of the 10 pitchers that are in the top 10 stay in the top 10. The only one to fall out is Greinke. He drops to 11, and he's replaced by Strasburg in this new proposal. Bottom line, very little change. Alright, so this is just giving you guys a little bit more data to look at. This is the top 20 pitchers based on points scored in 2014. And on the right side, highlighted in yellow, is the new points, ranking, and changes based on the new scoring. Alright, you may want to pause it here and kind of analyze this on your own. But if you see, like, the biggest rankings loss here is Jared Weaver, who moves down 6 spots from 15 to 21. And Jared Weaver had the worst ERA of the top 20 pitchers, the second worst whip of the top 20 pitchers, and the second least strikeouts of the top 20 pitchers. So I would say that that's a justified move. So I showed you all that so that you can understand that, despite these somewhat major changes in the scoring system, you can see that pitchers will still have basically the same amount of points over the course of the year. They'll still be valued equally against hitters, right? And that's what we want in a keeper league. The point of this change is to make sure that on a game-to-game or week-to-week basis, pitchers are better evaluated based on their true performance and not solely on wins and losses. Okay? So now we're going to look at a case study to dig into that a little bit. All right, so this is a bit of a case study here. You see Tyson Ross, 2 weeks in a row. He pitched 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run with 8 Ks. On the first week, he let up 5 walks, and on the second week, he let up 3 walks. Basically identical performances. The first one is, slightly less awesome. So now you could see, despite the fact that he pitched, very well in both games and actually better in the second game, he won the first and lost the second. And in the current scoring system, this resulted in a 15-point difference between the first week and the second week, when in reality, he pitched better in the second week, but because of a loss, he scored 15 points less. Okay, now under the new proposed system, you can see that 15-point gap is shrunk down to less than 9. All right, so despite the fact that he actually pitched better in the second week, he did win in the first and lose in the second. So wins and losses still carry a pretty good value in the league, which some people were concerned about, right? But that 15-point gap is what kills people. And the other thing is that on May 21st, he pitched very well and he lost, and he's still going to get rewarded almost 10 points instead of about 5, which I think you can sleep at night with. All right, one more of these. Again, 2 weeks in a row, Cole Hamels pitches about 8 innings, lets up about 5 hits, or 5 hits exactly. In the first week, he lets up 2 walks and has 7 Ks. Second week, 1 walk, 11 Ks. So the second week was better. An extra out, 1 less walk, 4 less Ks. However, he actually got a win the first week and a no decision the second week, right? Which resulted in 21 points the first week and 15 points the second, okay? I think we can live with that, but he actually pitched better in the second week, substantially better in the second week, and scored 6 less points. Now under the new system, he would actually score 17.8 both weeks, which I think makes perfect sense, okay? In the first week, he got the win. In the second week, he got 4 more Ks, 1 extra out, and 1 less walks. And those two things counterbalance each other, and that makes sense to me. Okay? Meow. All right, one last thing to cover, that's relief pitchers. Now, in this model, your elite relief pitchers or closers would actually get about 20 more points a year. That might sound like a lot, but remember, it's less than 1 point a week. Your non-elite closers, number 11 through 20, would only get about an extra 5 points a year, which is really insignificant. The rankings don't change much. Again, it's the same old story. I'm open to suggestions here, but I think that this is actually fair. I just wanted to make sure that I was showing everything that I had. Alright, so that's basically all I got, guys. So I think that it's a fair system. And I think that we need to decide as a league if we want to implement something like this or leave the current rules in place. Again, I'm open to any suggestions as to, trying a different tweak on the values or whatever. But I'll put this out there. I hope everybody chimes in. I think it's kind of important for the future of the league. And so please, give us your thoughts and definitely vote on the poll when I put it up there. All right? Thanks again for tuning in to My 3 Cents for the very special Starting Pitchers edition.
So climb aboard, come inside and see what it's like on the My 3 Cents side. What you wanna know, who you wanna see, we got a fantasy potpourri.